welcome into season 2 of the Comma Dad podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Before we get started, if you haven't done it, I don't know why you haven't, go leave a 5-star review. And then, of course, go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the bell, all the fun stuff. Anyway, gentlemen, welcome in. My name is Justin. I am, of course,
And
joined
I'm
by
Andrew.
Oh, there he is. No, that already played. That already played.
And I'm the other guy.
And do it, Ryan. Do it. Go.
And I'm Ryan.
There you go. Man, that was good. Sounded like a Pepsi commercial in 1998. All right. Well, today sucked, man. Some days parenting's about. Listen, we might need to do this show in the morning because, if I'm being completely honest, the last thing I want to do right now is talk about my children because they didn't.
If we did in the morning, what stories would we have?
I don't know.
Stories from the previous
You're
night.
right.
And how many times they woke us up?
You're still gonna talk about it from the previous night.
But I would have a fresh perspective and I would be enlightened, or you know what? I wouldn't. It doesn't matter. They screwed up today. My oldest child dislocated my youngest child's elbow today. Literally as I was clocking out. Like clocked out, let's go get a beer. We're done with work. My wife calls me, she's already in the car. Elijah dislocated.
The question is, when do you think your youngest will take revenge for said action?
Man, as soon as he's able, I feel like. Now the problem is Elijah's built like a dump truck, so he's gonna have some work to do, or
but there are other ways,
right? Exactly. He's gonna have to.
I mean, I was the youngest in a household of 3 boys.
So you find your ways, right?
Your oldest was awesome, though. Oldest brother was a saint, practically.
Yeah, rest his soul.
I never jumped up and down on top of the Nintendo system.
Not one time.
Stomping it,
Never.
smashing it into pieces.
Never.
I would never do that.
We never hid their memory cards. That'd be crazy. That'd be
when we replaced
nuts.
it. I didn't accidentally spill chocolate milk on the new one.
Coffee. Mom's coffee.
Coffee? Oh, coffee.
So-
Sorry.
Mom's
He
coffee.
remembers. See, I
No,
don't
I-
even remember what it was, but he does.
It's
'cause
seared into his memory.
And getting grounded
Absolutely.
for a year over arguing over Banjo and Kazooie.
You got grounded for a year over that
Yes,
crap
we got
video
grounded
game?
for-
It was Diddy Kong. It was Diddy Kong Racing, I think.
Well, that's a solid one, but don't
all
get in trouble.
3 of
Over,
us on
for a
N64.
don't get in trouble over
For
Banjo
1 year, and they
Kazooie.
held to it for a full
Yeah.
year. I mean,
They
it
held
was
to it
a
for a full
full
year.
year.
Oh my
A
gosh.
full
It was-
year.
Jeez.
That was
that's
intense.
crazy. That's a tough one. So yeah, in the middle of that, while she's taking my 8-month-old, 10-month-old, I don't know, something month old, not a year old, to the hospital to get his elbow popped back into place, as you do, the dog gets outside, and my dog's a very nice dog, and there's this lady walking 2 other little, miniature, rather large rats is what they really look like. And Roscoe runs at them full speed, tail wagging. I was like, oh, okay, let me go get him. This
Just wants to
lady
say hi.
loses her mind, screaming. I don't want to scream into the microphone. I don't want to make your ears bleed, but come get your dog. Just going nuts. She was screaming louder and harder than my 6-month-old with a dislocated elbow was screaming. You would have thought Roscoe was eating her alive. And I look up and Roscoe is tail wagging, sniffing. That's it. That's all he's doing. And she seems like the kind
You
of
mean
person.
acting like a dog?
She seems like the kind of
Kinda is.
person that's going to knock on my door tomorrow and complain about it. Like, I just know, like, she was a Karen. She really was. So, yeah, had that going
We
on.
have
But
those in
anyway,
every neighborhood.
I hope everybody else had a better evening than I did. I'm sure. No, anybody have an ER visit tonight? No?
No,
Not
ER
yet,
visits.
but the night is still
The
young.
night is young indeed. Yeah, so that definitely tested my parenting quote unquote skills to keep it together. Because Elijah was allegedly did earn a toy today. We were supposed to go get him a toy because he did a good job yesterday helping me clean out the car and clean the car, and then he dislocated the shoulder or the elbow. So he's like, "Can we still get a toy?"
Well, Well,
like, well,
now we gotta talk about the parenting side of this.
right. This works into that. You guys like my
Does
Spider-Man
this
Band-Aid, by the way?
negatively affect his? Because had you taken him yesterday to get the toy, he would have gotten the
Okay.
toy.
Okay, so this plays right into what this plays into the actual topic. So we're talking about how our kids learn from our actions, obviously, but then what we do other than our actions, trying to aim them in the right direction generally. So one of my things that I try to do and to instill in them is to keep their word, no matter what. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. If you don't say you're going to do something, you do it. So yesterday, after he helped me clean the car, I told him, we're trying to do the chore thing. If you do this, you earn a toy at the dollar store, whatever. So we got done cleaning the car. He helped me clean the wheels out really good. And so I was like, all right, you earned a toy. So I told him he earned a toy. So can I take that back? Because that's something I'm trying to instill. I feel like I can't. And I told him I told him already I wouldn't. So I definitely can't now. But was that the right
So
move, or should I have been like, no, you lost it?
Are you asking the audience or our opinion?
Well, not the audience. I'm asking you, and then the audience can,
weigh in.
type it
the
in on their
comments.
5-star review.
No, I think you have to honor the toy.
Right?
He earned the toy.
Okay.
The toy. There are two separate incidents at play, and there should be two separate, either a reward or a consequence
Okay.
in play. There should be a reward for helping. There should be a consequence for dislocating your brother's elbow.
Now here's the kicker on that. He was helping him walk. He's trying to teach him how to walk, and I guess he kind of fell, and he tried to pull him back up. So he wasn't playing rough with him, and he felt
So this was more
terrible.
ignorance than
Yeah, he wasn't doing
he didn't
anything.
deliberately just like push him or pull him or
Right.
out of anger
Yeah.
or frustration.
And he felt terrible as soon as I got done with
Well,
work.
that's not a consequence.
He walked up
That's
to
a
me.
learning. That's a
and
teachable moment.
That's what I was thinking. He hugged me, and he told me he felt like he was a bad brother, and I was like, I can't. He was either genuinely sorry or playing me. In either way, it worked beautifully. I was like, well, yeah, you're not getting punished, and yeah, you're still getting your toy.
Yeah, I'd take a slightly different stance than what you're saying. And I think what you just said kind of
You're bringing out the belt?
And then, well, no. And what you said,
Go pick
with
a
it being,
switch from out back.
with it being an accident, and more of a learning experience, then I think yes, you still get the toy. But I think just because you give something doesn't mean that it can't get undone. Because I
Yeah.
think it's also our job to prepare kids for real life, and you can finish your boss can say, hey, when you finish this project, you're going to get a promotion, and you can finish the project, but then really screw up something else, and your boss can look at you and say, yeah, you finished the project, but that was contingent on everything else maintaining the status quo, and that's not what happened.
Yeah.
And not necessarily having to spell out every deal like a contract. Now, do they need to learn that at 4 or 5 or 6
Probably
years old?
not. Yeah.
No, not at all. So I would say some of this has to do with age appropriateness too. The younger
Right.
they are, the more likely I would say you keep to promises.
Yeah.
But as they get to
high school,
closer to double digits,
Yeah.
into I've got a pretty manipulative 9-year-old. She is extremely smart, and she knows how to work the room, and she knows that you can get one promise, but then maybe if I slack off on this, the consequence isn't as bad as
right.
it's worth it, the trade-off. And so no,
She knows
understand
what the
that,
consequence is.
right? If your reward can be taken away as a consequence,
I can appreciate
but
that thought process, though. Of
I think that
I'll take the punishment. That's fine.
Right.
I kind of like that.
it really has to be a judgment call.
That'll come in
It really
handy.
has to be up to the kid, up to where they're at, how your family operates.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can just make a blanket statement that, well, you promised him something, therefore you've got to keep to it regardless of how he
Right.
behaves after the fact.
And maybe it would have been different if he would have he pushed him down the stairs. Like, no, you're not getting
Right.
now. You're not getting your toy. There's not a chance. But
Right.
I guess it's all circumstantial at that point. But yeah, I am trying to drive that home big time. It seems to be working with him so far. Is just if you said you're gonna do it, you do it, and if you don't do it, I'll guilt trip you, and that seems to work as well. So, I don't know. Have you guys come across? Are you guys trying that at all? Does it work?
I
Making
mean,
them keep their word?
we don't give them I mean, making them keep their word in what? What is it that they're saying they're going to do that you're
Right,
trying
because
to make them keep
when they're
their
that
word on?
age,
There's 7.
Yeah, it has to do with the realistic nature
Like
of what
Yeah,
they're.
I agree.
What is it you're trying to do? For the most part, right now, I mean, he's 7.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a say. It's not a democracy. It's not a like.
That's true.
He's gonna do what I'm gonna tell him to do, and that's what's gonna happen.
I guess I
It's-
want him
there
to
is
do it.
no. Yeah, you could want him.
You're
to
right.
I want you to
want to do
Right.
things. Right now, I mean, we focus on cleaning up after yourself and helping your brother and doing chores and
Yeah,
things like that.
it's a tough one to drive
But-
home right now.
But those are all
Well,
things
it's-
that we're telling him
you-
to do, not things he's voluntarily doing per se.
No,
Yeah,
but
true.
I think Drew kind of hit it on the head, especially with the cleaning up after yourself and the toys. Like, I just went to tuck Matthew in, and I hadn't seen his room because I was running, a few errands and some other things, and we reinstalled our pool pump and stuff like that. And I'm tucking him in, and I see that his room's a disaster, and it was perfectly clean 4 hours ago.
Right.
So somewhere between then and so it's, well, no, this isn't going to be an excuse for you to stay up an extra 20 minutes while you clean your room.
That's the
But
move
he's
they
like, I'll
pull
clean it
too.
up in the morning.
Oh,
So then
yeah.
it's like, okay,
I'd love
you
to go
gotta
to
clean
sleep,
it up in the
Dad.
morning.
Gotta clean my room.
Summer's
Sorry.
starting. We got all this stuff going on. You need to clean it up first thing in the morning. I don't want to walk out of the bedroom when mommy and daddy wake up and see you watching TV and then see your room still a mess.
Yeah, that's true. So,
So there is a little
yeah.
bit of, you can kind of hold them to, okay, yeah, that's a chore. Yeah, you need to clean up after yourself, but you're going to do it in the
Yeah.
morning instead of tonight. I want to see you follow through on that.
and I think these kind of go hand in hand. The one I'm also trying to really drill home right now, and I think you can do this at this age for sure, is no lying is top of the line capital offense. I don't care what the lie is about. Like it doesn't matter.
How big or small?
It doesn't matter. And the tricky part is about that is our kind of policy for now is if you tell me the truth, there won't be a consequence. Now, of course, when they get older, if they drive their car, into somebody's house and you tell me you did it, there will be still a consequence. But right now, as long as the lie isn't, or whatever happened isn't insane.
It's funny that you brought that up because we ran into that towards the end of this first grade year with Matthew. And I'll try to keep this one very short, unlike most of my rants.
Oh, you don't talk very much.
But Matthew started getting in trouble at school for not completing his assignments.
Were you the
and
guy
his
at
teacher-
group projects who would just take that thing home, like in the presentation?
Sometimes, not
You-
always. It would depend
you
on the
were.
group. It
You
depended
were.
on the group.
Sorry,
Sometimes I'd get. No, it's okay. But no, this is like classwork. You have homework. This is classwork. Like in class, she says, okay, for the next 20 minutes, you need to do this and draw this and cut this out or color this in and cut out these fish or whatever. And then the next day they were given like another 20 minutes, and the next day and at the end of the week they were gluing all the pieces together, and he just didn't do anything all week. He didn't complete it, period.
Fish are
He spaced
stupid
out. He
anyway.
talked to his friends. He just completely ignored the assignment. So his teacher let us know. He got in trouble. Mommy, I won't do it again. And then the next week, the same thing. So there's a little bit of, he gets in the car, and instead of not telling us,
Right.
he's like, oh, Miss Carvajal got mad at me again. So
How
he
dare
tells
she?
us,
How dare she?
he tells us that he's in trouble. There's
Right.
an honesty there. He could lie, and lying by omission,
Yeah.
not tell us that he's getting in trouble. He's being honest, but he's also not fixing something that he said
Right.
he'd fix.
Yeah.
And that's really not acceptable behavior.
Right.
Elijah
You got to
pushes
fix.
Emmett down
Right.
down the stairs, multiple times. It doesn't matter if he tells you, "Well, I pushed him down the stairs. Sorry,
You told me the
I
truth.
pushed him down the stairs
fine.
again. I'm telling you the truth."
I'll clean
Right,
the blood
eventually
up. Don't
there has
worry.
to
Go
be,
play.
Yeah, so but I will tell you it's very difficult because Yanni and I have taken a very similar stance where lying absolutely, regardless of how innocent the lie might
Mm-hmm.
be perceived to be, lying is absolutely wrong.
Right.
So I think what you just brought up is a really tricky area.
Because it changes when they
parents to-
grow, for sure. It's kind of easier when
Absolutely.
they're little, but I don't know. Drew, what do you?
But you don't.
How do you
You
guys?
there's got to be consequences,
Right.
despite the truth,
Yeah.
but not
I mean,
enough to
for the most
dissuade
part, I
telling the
think-
truth.
Right.
I think when they're younger though, and again, maybe it'll have to adjust as they get older, but for the most part, we don't leave them alone a whole lot.
Yeah.
Catching them in a lie would mean that you weren't paying attention and you're asking them a question and they're lying in a way that you know.
Yeah.
So, like to Ryan's example of, well, you pushed your brother down the stairs. Did you push your brother down the stairs? I watched you push your brother down the stairs. There's a consequence. I'm not waiting. I'm not asking you
Right.
and then seeing if you tell
That's-
me the truth.
Well, yeah.
I watched
yeah.
you push your brother down the stairs. There's a
Right.
consequence. But I'm not asking you a question.
That was going to be my question. Do you ever bait them to test them? I feel bad. I've done it. I feel bad about when I do it.
I think we baited Alex once.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was an idiot. So I'm even when he's 18
Most
years old,
kids
he
under
can listen to
10
this.
already.
You
He
guys
can
had the
listen to this,
food
and
incident,
it's-
though. It happens.
That's
Oh,
what I'm leading to.
That was yeah.
We had ribs from, I don't know, Chili's or Fridays or something. I mean,
Doesn't
full
matter,
rack
they're
of ribs, and we put 2 or 3 on each of the kids' plates. Or I don't even know if Max was alive at this point, or maybe he was just an infant. Getting to the point here, we went upstairs. I think that's what it was. We were putting Max to bed, and we left Alex downstairs to work on eating his food. It was at a time where we were really struggling with getting him to eat. It would take hours to get him to eat a single meal. He would just take his time. And, well, come to find out, we came back downstairs and his plate was empty. No bones or anything, completely empty.
I ate
I
them.
forgot.
I ate
That's
everything.
a great detail. Just
And I forget how we got there, but I mean, he ended up. I'm gonna have to ask my wife what
Oh, man.
happened, because I remember his excuse ended up being that the cockroaches ate the bones.
those darn bone-eating cockroaches. I mean, it is Florida.
So,
It's not
long story
completely out
short,
of line.
we found out that while we were not in the room for the last month or so, anytime he would see us go to the bathroom or go to the kitchen, go downstairs, whatever the circumstance was, anytime we would leave for over a month, he had been taking his plate and dumping it behind the TV cabinet to get out of eating. That's how bad it was. We could not get him to eat, and we were at a time where we were kind of forcing the thing. So it's like, you're gonna sit there until bedtime if you have to.
Right.
You're gonna eat your dinner. You're gonna sit there this entire time. So instead, he would wait for us to leave, and he would dump the plate behind the TV cabinet.
I mean, I'm sure some
And
of
they
the
only get
cockroaches
smarter.
did get some. It
But
probably wasn't a full
yes,
lie.
So obviously, we knew he didn't eat the bones. We baited him that time. Where's the food? Like,
Right. I know you didn't
Come on.
eat.
it's
a
not in the trash. It's not
entire
in the
rack of
sink.
ribs.
And it's not on your plate. Where's the bones? Oh, the cockroaches ate it.
I was starving, really hungry. Oh,
Maybe that's
man.
what it is. Maybe he said he threw them away and the cockroaches ate it. I don't know. I forget. But
Gosh.
yeah, that's the one time we baited him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in that circumstance you kind of have to, but I feel bad sometimes. I'll bait them, but I know like they're so scared. I know what they're gonna say. You know what I mean? Uh, like I remember I saw they're always throwing good food away. Elijah threw a fish taco away one time, and I watched him do it.
Oof.
I saw him do it. Like he thought I didn't see him. I saw him. I was like, buddy, where'd you put your taco? Ate it. All right. I'm gonna give you one more chance. Where to go? And he was like, he stared at me for what felt like a minute. He was like, I ate it.
Deciding.
I was like, dude, I gave you the chance, and then the punishment came down, and he was crying.
Learning
and I was like,
moment.
man, but I felt bad because I baited him. But at the same time, you can't let him get away with throwing away a fish taco. That's outrageous.
You have to give them the opportunity to learn, though.
I
And
like the
that's
way you put
is-
that. The opportunity to do the right thing.
It
sounds like something Sarah
what's
McLachlan
that
says
Jordan
on that puppy
Peterson
commercial.
say, like, if you see your kid doing something dangerous carefully, that's when kids do the most amount of learning. When they're
Lying to
doing
his
something-
Hispanic mother is pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a life or
But-
death situation.
It's go ahead, kid. Godspeed. I'm not part of this. He's
But
done.
they've got to learn. They've got to learn.
Yeah, and I guess this.
What a sandal feels like at 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. That sucker's accurate too, man.
Chancleta.
It comes back right back in the hand. And that kind of, it's funny. It leads. I didn't do this. I'm not this good of a host, but I guess that leads into the last thing I'm really trying to do. And this is like baseline stuff because they're not that old, but I really don't want to raise jerks. Like I just want them to be genuinely decent people. You know what I mean? So Sarah sent me a picture this week of, what was it, 6 carts in a parking spot, not in their proper positions. And if I had any hair, I would have pulled it out. But like little things like we're saying please and thank you. Like those aren't if you feel like it. Those are you're doing that. That goes
Every
along
time.
every single time with
Yep.
without fail. You're not gonna be a punk to other kids. You're not gonna be a bully. Like stuff like we've all met those like 12-year-old kids that are like, oh, this kid's like, I can't. Like, you know they're gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
they're gonna be bullies. Like I don't want that so badly. So badly. So that's like one of the things I'm really trying to drive home is just like the most basic of human decency stuff. But I'm going at it intentionally because I feel like if I don't, I'll kind of gloss over it, or forget about it. This is where you guys respond.
Yes.
Typically.
Awareness. We call it awareness.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Yanni and I are big on
That's
being
good. I like
aware
that.
of
Yeah.
of what's going on around you, being aware of the room around you. A lot of times, and as an extreme example, this has not happened, I'll clarify. But as an extreme example, you can be at a funeral and then you can have like your kid walk up and start telling fart jokes or something.
It's a good
Now,
example,
maybe that's
though.
a good thing because it'll lighten up the mood. But there's you got to read the room.
Time and a
You got to
place.
understand what's going on.
Time and
There
place,
there
yeah.
have been times where maybe Yanni's got a headache and Katie gets hurt with something, and Matthew comes in and he wants to talk about playing with a new toy, and
Right.
he wants to show me a ninja move, and it's like, buddy,
That's
now's not a good time. And
not it. Yeah.
or mommy gets a call from her boss and she's on a very important phone call and he just wants to talk about what snack he wants to eat because he doesn't like the red ones or something, like in a fruit gummy thing.
And see,
So
that's
it's just-
tough because in their mind, they can't, I guess, yet differentiate. Well, that wasn't a jerk thing to do then. Why is it now? You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah,
So
that's
it very much has to do with awareness. Pay attention to what's going on around you, and there's an age, and it is around the 6-7-year-old
Yeah.
sort of thing. Katie's become very aware of a lot of situations. Matthew is still in that process of learning, but they're very self-centered. And I know that has
Yeah.
a negative connotation
No,
as an adult, but as a child, they're the center of their universe. They don't have a grasp yet of the fact that
Mhm.
you have your own universe, and mommy has her
Right.
own universe, and sister has her own universe, and all of these collide. It's, I need this, I'm going to go get it.
That's
And so
good
it's a
though,
very
because
simple A to B. And so you have to teach them about the
th-
awareness of everything else going on around them.
if you've ever met an adult with no awareness, that's one of the worst people to be. It's terrible.
Hmm.
It's absolutely, and you're like, what is wrong with you? There has to be something.
So,
Like,
jumping in on that, that's one thing we deliberately try to do a lot of is helping other people, whether it's each
ooh,
other
that's
within
a
our
good
own
one.
family
Yeah.
or even people that are not in our family. Jumping a
Yes.
car that's, going up and asking people if they need help, taking out trash, picking up trash that other people drop on the ground,
Yes.
taking shopping carts
Yeah.
that are not
Yeah.
ours and returning them to the
Oh
the
man,
um the little shopping cart collection area.
I got to do that the other day.
If you
So
are
empowered.
able to do something, you should do it, not because you need to, not because you want to, but because you can, because it will help somebody else. So we're always trying to
Yeah,
use a little bit of the situational awareness, but help using what our talents are, what our abilities are to help those around us.
that's a good one. Now the flat tire thing got me in a tough spot. It was in the middle of winter, and it was cold outside. It was rainy. I remember that, and we were kind of talking about this a couple days previous, and we're driving, and the car's full of kids, and I can't remember where we were going, but we were not on time. And Elijah's like, "Oh, that person's car is broke. We should stop and help them." And I was like, "Well,
100%.
we can't right now, buddy." And he hit me with the, "But Dad, it's the right thing." And I was like, "Well,"
Oh boy.
Mic
I
drop.
said, and then I just lied. I was like, "Someone else is on the way to help him, buddy. Don't worry." Oh, good. And he bought it hook, line, and sinker. I was just like, well, nah, sometimes I'm a piece of crap, but they don't know it.
I mean,
No, but
there's always going to be times that you can't
Well, I
stop
could
what you're
have.
doing and help.
I
You have a
could've.
place to. You have a well, if you were late to something
That's
that was important that you
true.
needed to go to. If you're late for your job and you're going to lose your job to
Right.
help somebody change a flat tire,
Right. Probably not.
that's not really a great
Right.
situation.
That's true.
Sure, he's correct. Sure, he's got a point, but you can have a conversation with him and
Yeah.
say,
right.
I was glad
But
he
it-
I
wanted
it-
can't
to.
right now. I would love to, but we can't right now. We have somewhere to be.
Right.
I don't know.
Something.
It has
The
to do with
point is,
commitments
when
and
you
keeping
can
your
do
word,
it,
and
and they'll
That's
see
and
that.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty of examples outside of that. I know you guys kind of just were using that as a for instance, but the one that we've been very proud of, and fortunately our extended family does this as well. When we do our first Sundays and first Saturdays, whatever, with the family, Matthew has started cleaning up Katie's dishes. Finish dinner, he'll grab mom's dish and Katie's dish and dad's dish, and he'll take everything to the sink, and he started rinsing it off and putting it in the sink. And so it's hey, I see this, it needs to be done. I don't have to do this, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to do this. And it's something
Yep.
small. Drew, you said like picking up the trash, and stuff like that. So uh, the little things that you notice. Now, it's not always, Matthew's done really well with this, and I'm going to pick on Katie. See if she listens to the podcast. She was told to clean up the shoes by the
I
shoe
hope
rack
not.
earlier today, and she picked up her shoes and left Matthew's shoes and mommy's shoes sitting out in front of the shoe rack. And she was told to clean up all the shoes. So it's a work in progress. But I think ultimately, like we're going to try to instill a lot of these things in them overall. Like, to put it bluntly, as Justin put it, we don't want them to grow up to be jerks. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to decide who they want to be. It doesn't matter who we want them to be. We can want them to be this person.
Yeah.
We can want them to be that type of person. At the end of the day, you've got to show them, as part of all this, modeling behavior. You have to show them the benefits and the value in doing this.
That's a
and
good
behaving
point.
this way.
Why do I want to stop and help that person? Because ultimately, I guess what they're thinking is, what's in it for me, and you can show them because
And again,
it's nice,
especially at a younger age.
because it's a good thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Is the showing them constantly, because I guess that does. Especially, have you ever done something
Well,
go ahead, Drew.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, conversationally, I I I have a conversation with Alex about it.
Hmm.
Well, if you needed help and you were by yourself, would
Yeah.
you like it if somebody were to stop and help you? Well,
Hmm.
yeah. Okay.
Well,
Does that
there
person
you
need
go.
to stop? No. Like they don't, but
Right.
they're doing it to help you. So we should stop and help those people when they need our help.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's a
Yeah.
conversation and he gets it. I mean, he's
Yeah.
you may think 7 is pretty young, but he actually he grasps all of that pretty well.
Yeah.
The
It's you got to I
the
guess
other
I got to trust him with more, concepts that I think they won't get, but like you said, he's only 7, but he got that.
Hmm.
they'll wrap their heads around a lot of it. Another big one that we use to bridge that gap is around Christmas. And it's not directly related to this, but we tie it in, and it's you will experience more joy or as much, if not more joy in giving gifts than getting.
Yeah.
And when they're very young, it's very difficult for them to grasp that. But as they've gotten older, their school holds these little like Valentine's Day and Christmas and Easter. They have this little like shop that they can go to. They can take, and things are $1.50 or $2, and it's tchotchkes. They're nothing. They're pencils with little doodads on the ends, or erasers or pencil sharpeners or
Right.
stuff.
Chuck E.
But
Cheese prizes.
we've given the kids, $5 and a little money teaching thing, budget it, and this, that, and the other. But the kids have used, especially around Christmas and Valentine's Day, I want to get mom this, I want to get
That's a good.
dad this.
I like that. Yeah.
And Matthew has started getting Katie stuff, and Katie has started getting Matthew stuff. And so there's this, hey, I want to give this because, Matthew, I think for Christmas this year, that was the most memorable one to me, got Yanni some red nail polish that they happen to be selling.
Right.
And it's like she got this. Yanni always gets her nails done professionally. I don't think I've ever seen her paint her own nails, but it meant a lot because he put thought into it. He
Right.
always notices how excited mom gets when she gets her nails done, how much she likes to show them off, and what color she likes.
Yeah.
So he put thought into it, and he was like, it
He was
hit him.
pumped. Yeah.
It hit him
That's
because he
good.
was so excited to do something for the benefit of somebody else.
Right.
You can argue, is that really altruistic and this, that, and the other? But then tying that into, you can help somebody and see how grateful they are that you pulled over to stop them. See
Right.
how grateful that you were able to help them do something. I
Right.
was
And
at
it's
Lowe's, and some, a cart pusher stopped to help a lady load a bunch of storage bins in a Jeep. And it's like, even seeing that, like, I wanted to be like, okay, let me go and help. And they were done by the time I got over there. But it's like it inspires other people.
you went slow on purpose. Oh, we're gonna go help.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shoot! Darn it! Didn't give them the good work, guys. Good work, team. I'll get you.
Teamwork.
I'll get you next time.
I love that. I'll
no,
get
I've-
you next time. Like I'm ever gonna
uh,
see you again.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. If
Like
I'm
the
ever at this
valet
grocery
when you
store,
when you don't have cash and you valet your car and
you hit them with the
can't
oh,
give
man.
the tip and it's I
Cash.
don't have any. I'll get you next time.
Right.
Never
Or
gonna see this guy again
Yeah.
in my life.
I got cash in my car. I'll just be right back. I'll just be right back. Real quick before we close, I'll never forget one time we went, it was our 5th or 6th wedding anniversary. I was like, oh, let's go to a swanky hotel for one night. It'll be awesome. Downtown Atlanta. And I've been a broke person my whole life. And I pull up, I was like, where do I park? And they were like, oh, it's valet only. And I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be good. Okay, here you go. Park my 2014 minivan with the Maseratis. Have at it. And they didn't tell me how much it was. And anytime a place doesn't tell you how much something is, it's a
You
lot.
can't afford it.
There's a reason they don't put a price on it. So poor people like me don't go there. And the next day we go to pick up the car, and I want to say it was like $60. And I was like, and Esther was like, "Are you gonna tip him?" I was like, "Tip him? I just paid $60 for a guy to walk. I can see my car. He just has my keys." I was like, "Oh, can I just?" I asked the cheapest question. I was like, "Can I just
go get it myself?"
Can I go get it?"
Can I-
And I could see it in his eyes. He was like, "This piece of crap's not gonna give me anything." He didn't even have cash on me. I was like, dude.
There's always like somebody in the window and then another guy that runs to get the cars, and the guy
Yeah.
in the window doesn't run to get the cars, and you walk up and you can see your car like 30 feet away from you, but the
Right.
runner isn't there because he's fetching a different car.
Exactly.
So you stand there for 10 minutes
Yep.
while your car is 30 feet away,
Right. It's a
waiting for the guy to go get your car.
Freaking car. Yeah. And I felt, because I like to tip. I'm a tipper. And that just, I was like, well, but they knew when I pulled up, they were like, this guy's not, there's not a chance. There's not a remote chance. I didn't know. I was the guy when you walk in looking around like, look at this. Look at all this cool stuff. You know, taking all the free. Is this free? Can I have this? Like,
should have gone through
start
like the little
snapping pictures
change
with your cell phone.
holder. Go through
Right,
the little
yeah,
change
exactly.
holder in your center console and hand him a couple of quarters.
Yes, exactly. Here you go. Ting, flip him a whole quarter. There you go. So yeah, that's me being a cheap piece of crap story. There's not a lot of them,
behavior.
But, exactly. Yeah. Well, it's not modeling behavior if they're not there to see it. This has been another episode of the Common Dad Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please leave that 5-star review so we can read it. And of course, most importantly, get the analytics from it. Of course, go to YouTube, follow, like, subscribe, save it, do all that good stuff. And we're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're not on Twitter because we're dads and I don't know how that works. So again, thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of the Common Dad Podcast. Let us know if you liked the video by giving us a thumbs up. Even if you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video. Also, do not forget to follow us on Instagram at _common_dad and on Facebook at The Common Dad so you can let us know your thoughts on today's episode.